In today's video, I want to show you how I organize my music and tips and tricks for 2026. I'm going to show you the exact system that I use. No theory, the actual crates that I play from, some of my most played tracks of 2025. If you're new to this channel, you might want to pause this video and look back on this one I did about a year ago. At the top of the year, I always go through and flush out my playlists and my crates, and I share some tips and tricks along the way. I figure in today's deep dive, I'm going to share with you where I get my music from, some of my organizational logic, the rules and not the tools. I think a lot of DJs, new and old, want to learn about transitions, the glue that nobody really talks about or shares much about. And then the versions, pre gig decision making. We'll go through all that. And then I'm also going to give you the vault, the big moment, some of my most played tracks, and some of my most popular crates that I'm willing to share with you for all walks of DJs, all professions of DJs, for anybody who is just dipping their toes in crate organization or just loves music in general. This is a video that you want to kick back and watch, maybe take some notes with, and really understand that this is my method. And it doesn't necessarily have to be yours, but you can take bits and pieces of it that may help your method along the way. One of the many questions that I get as a DJ, where do you get your music from? Well, let's go through a few of the websites. Record pools is what we call them. For those that aren't up to the terminology or the history of record pools, this is where professional DJs get music in 2026 and for the foreseeable future. It will probably end up being this with a hybrid of streaming. Spotify has recently entered into the DJ booth, and I've been a big purveyor over the past 5 years that we're going to be starting to see our MP3s turn into streaming. Prepare for the shift. I'm going to show you some tips on how I get my music from MP3s to streaming. And if you can start to see DJ City, one of the longest lasting record pools where DJs would download MP3s, and still to this day, you can get a good library for $10. But boy, they are really making a push. They are really making a push for streaming. DJ City owns Beat Source, but you can also see other record pools hopping on board the streaming service. When you've got music you could put on Google Drive, now put onto their drive, and you're accessing it from their platform and no longer your platform. It starts to get a little tricky. Fast forward to next year, it's going to be a whole different game plan. I think this might be the year of shifting. Hold on to your MP3s. I'll show you where you can store them, back them up forever, keep actual archives of them. Where do you source your music? Where is the next generation of music going to exist? I think it's going to be for 2026, a real wild hybrid. You've still got Amazon Music as a player. A lot of wedding DJs still rely on this for the songs that don't exist on record pools. We have to remember that pools exist for promotional material, getting music out to a general audience. And after a certain time, songs just simply don't need promotion. That's really handy for those one off requests, those specific songs that maybe a bride or groom would offer. Now, that's one thing I do want to bring up is the argument, okay, streaming at a wedding, that's where it gets a little scary. So, again, I just want you to put a pin on the streaming. If you're going to stream cache, what I mean by that is offline, making sure that even though it's not an MP3, that streaming is uninterruptible. At a wedding, you don't want that first dance to start skipping. Here's what I have done for the past 5 years, knowing that we're going to start to move into this plethora of music on streaming platforms. You're going to notice that my MP3 catalog has less than 1,500 songs, which is wild for a lot of people. They think, well, you're a DJ, you need every song at your disposal. Yes, but I've proven you can stream at any minute's notice. If you can have 1,500 songs at your disposal that you know in and out and you work really well with, that can become your brand and you can get really talented really fast. So, putting a wrap on the where I get my music portion of this video, I just want to say that I have access to every song in the world, and you do too. You can go to all of these websites that I've recommended. Oh, I do want to bring up, just for watching this video, I'm going to give you access to some of these record pools for free. In fact, if you go to Late Night Record Pool, it would normally cost you 47 bucks a month. I'm going to give you a month of this just to test it out and start getting your music. I've actually created a really good relationship with this pool. Darren over at Late Night wants to welcome you on board, and you can start to download music. Very generous, very cool. I also want to say that War and Peace over at Direct Music Service has a free promo code that I'm happy to give you as well. We pass that along to all of our Crate Hackers members. The way this works is, for those that don't know, I own and operate Crate Hackers. Crate Hackers is where all of my knowledge resides. You guessed it, crates, music. When you see my thoughts of how I organize my music, you'll start to equate, oh, okay, this is why Aaron built Crate Hackers the way it is, because there wasn't anything like it on the market. And you'll see why as we proceed. I want to talk about my top 3 organization principles. And that's going to start off with principle number 1. It's going to be the 1500 song rule. This is not a number, it's a cognitive boundary. One of the rules that I'll stick with until my dying day is going to be that you have 1500 songs that you know inside and out intrinsically well. Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville. That's all he was known for the most part. I do argue to say there's a lot of Buffett fans out there, but he was known for that Margaritaville song. And how many times did he get up there on stage and sing that song? I guarantee whenever he was up on stage, he probably did have to sing that song because he was known for that. He was the guy who wore the Tommy Bahamas and was known for the beach and the vibes. He was known for that. So I really want you to start thinking about, what are you known for? What is your Tommy Bahama? What is your beach? What is your one song? If there was that one soundtrack that defines you, what is that? Because I argue that anything else beyond that is a scattershot approach. I know you want to be everything to all people. Let's hone in on one that pays the bills first, one that really, really works well for you. And that may mean having to discard some B-side Foster the People track or a song from 1962 that you have a rare copy of. Put those to the side, put them on backup. Now, I do have many more songs on the side, but for my performance laptop, for everything that I have in my collection right now, if I get anything less than 1500, I'm golden. Anything more than that, I start to get anxious. True story. I step on the scale, I'm thinking, oh man, I got to get back in the gym. It's just repetition and a mindset that if my music goes any further off that scale, it's time to go back into the library gym in a way. It's time to prune your crates. It's really time to decide, number 1, what is my brand? And what are the songs that I know get an actual dance floor reaction? I've tested these songs before. I know they work. I'm going to tuck these away. I know that's going to be part of the 1500 songs. So principle number 1 is the 1500 song library rule for me. Now you can set that whatever you want. You can cast that net a little bit wider, but don't go too much wider. Over here on the DJ playlist group, I recently polled this community asking them what's their average music library like. It's anywhere between the range of 10,000. For the majority of the DJs, 10,000 seems to be about the safe number before people start getting a little stressed out. 10,000 for most working DJs seems to be about right. There will be those music hoarders to try to ingest 14 terabytes of music into our software. Think about all the data indexing that requires. It's too much. It's way too much. It's a lot of slop. What you're dealing with is music slop. We make fun of this AI slop about it being too much. I'm willing to bet over 70% absolute garbage, subjectively. I'll give you a little hack here. Go over to Crate Hackers and you can actually run this service for free. You can test any song and it'll give you a popularity score. And that's one metric you can use, but it also boils down to, how does it react when you push play? Have you pushed play on that song in recent years, weeks? Go back to things like this philosophy. If you haven't seen it, touched it, used it, played it, needed it, wanted it, done anything to it in the past year, what's the point? Why do you need it? You just don't need every song anymore. We get so hung up in, I need that song because at any second that bride or groom is going to request it, and I'm going to be so cool because I'm going to have it for him. We're in that situation where we feel like we need it, but we're also in that period where we can start to shave off a lot of stuff that we know we can stream. So watch me on this. Here's what I do. I'll go in and I'll make these folders, right? I have this one folder in my Dropbox. And that's also one principle. We'll talk about it in a minute here, where you store your music. But I know that I've got a couple fail safes that I can test before they go into the main crate. So I got a couple of folders. What I suggest going forward for you is lock in your top number of songs that you need. Number two, what are those rules? What's that setting of like I'm only going to have sweets on a Friday kind of scenario before I step on the scale? What is that rule to keep yourself in shape? So very important. But then have that secondary folder of the sweets, of the junk, of the slop, of the stuff that you may graduate into a more pristine collection. I want you to know I tag very well. I cue point. Are you noticing all the cue points? I've got a minimum of 4 cue points in every single song. Nothing graduates from the slop folder. Maybe your slop folder could be the secondary desktop folder where you know that that's going to be sort of the, I don't know, think of it like rush week. Like there's those fraternities and sororities, and they're always like trying to get new members into the frat house. Well, they're really selective about who they bring in. Do the same with your music. Let them all hang out in the courtyard, in the food court, but are they allowed into the actual fraternity or the sorority? Heck no. They got to go through a hazing. They really do. Your music has to be treated like an inductee, somebody who's going to be, you know, welcomed in, part of the family. I know I'm getting really philosophical about this, but that's how I treat my music. I'm not going to bring just any song into my pristine, immaculate facility. And I want you to treat your music the same way. There's going to be songs that you haven't touched in over 2 years that deserve to be pushed off to the slot folder. So, how do you get there? Let me show you. I want you to go in and start to filter by what you already may have. Maybe you already have music in your Serato, or you've got a collection like mine in Rekordbox. Maybe you've got songs that never even got played. Do you need those? In fact, here's a great exercise. I'm going to go ahead and scroll through and look at my DJ play count. And if I haven't played anything in the past year, it's gone. So check this out. Here's one from 2022, A Craze Cherish. It was a remix of Do It To It. It's a transition edit, but it's 6 minutes long. I never got around to playing it. I've had it in my collection for about 3 years now. It's time for it to go. Move it off to the folder. That is one quick pass you can do of getting rid of some of your music. Another great example of getting rid of tracks super fast, go into the artist column. I'm willing to bet you can delete songs faster from an artist library than their singles collection. Follow me on this. So if you're really trying to bulk delete, you can grab, for example, not that I'm going to delete all of Bruno Mars, but I could get his collection out of my library faster than having to hunt through each individual song in the title category. You can see just by clicking that, all of his music is now filtered. I have to delete individually, and it's no fun. That was principle number 2, graduation and not hoarding. You really want to make sure that your music is selectively chosen into your library before you go any further. Number 3 is the cloud first, always synced. This is my third and most important principle. I championed this in previous videos. You can go back as far as 2022 and you'll see me talking about how I've always thought that we'll be moving into this day where you won't have to be bringing in a USB. I'm trying to find some physical media here, like these laptops. You just plug straight in. I feel like that day and age is quickly coming to an end. So be prepared with my third principle, and that is making sure that everything is hosted on your cloud storage. Majority of my music is tucked away inside Dropbox. I use that simply because Rekordbox comes with a Dropbox subscription. You can choose your platform just like you would choose your DJ software, but they generally work the same. This rule in general just removes fear from your preparation. If you know you're doing a lot of work on computer A, you can pick up where you left off on computer B if you do the right kind of file sharing and syncing. If you pick your platform, like for example, me, I do Rekordbox. There are options to back up your music and carry it everywhere. For example, I'll head over to library and backup library and send this over to my cloud storage. Backup library, click OK, back up my music. I'm going to put this over on Dropbox, click save. Once that's saved, one of my favorite features is, let's say I'm on computer B and I want to pick up where I left off. I can bring my collection over with me by going to File, Library, Restore, and that folder that you just backed up in Dropbox can be brought down to computer B. I really want to emphasize how big that is. So many people are afraid to buy a new laptop. So many DJs are stuck with their 2012 computer because they feel they can't carry over their music from one to the next. If you can just stop getting hung up on keeping your music on a C drive or on a pen drive, you can start to move from brand new laptop to tablet to your streaming, even your phone for that matter. You can get really clever and carry your music literally everywhere if you pick your platform, get a cloud storage, and start to do the backup and restore. If your library only lives on one drive, you're not organized. You're just lucky. Okay, let's take a quick look at my actual crate structure, moving the music to the side. I do want to point out that the crates should answer questions and not list songs. Your crate tree isn't about genre, it's about situations and decisions. What do I play if the room shifts? What do I play if the energy dips? What do I play if someone hands me the wrong request at the wrong time? See, these smart crates that I built here, these let one song live in multiple realities without duplication. The tree gives you top down clarity, while smart crates give you lateral movements. Let me show you what I mean by that. I've got these smart crates where I set up a rule that any track that is tagged EDM, for example, will always show up in this smart crate. See what I mean? I'll click EDM, EDM pops up. If I click on the rap folder, I've got all the rap songs, but notice my genres have these multiple realities. I can have a rap song that has an EDM twist to it living in the same folder based on how I tagged it. See, to me, that's the most important rule of all. If you can live with a smaller amount of music and you have, let's say, for example, in my case, 1,500 songs, nothing gets graduated into this fraternity until it gets tattoos. You got to brand it. You know what I mean? Like cattle, when you're bringing them into the farm, you got to know which farmer owns them. You got to brand them. So you tag them. And I use hashtags. For me, hashtags work like this. Let's say I want to find an EDM song. If I type in E, it's already showing me every song with the letter E. If I type in D, it takes it down a little further. If I type in M, I'm finally getting down to 580 songs. I can cut down your search time by using a hashtag because it's no longer just looking for every song with the letter E, which just took it down instantly to 588 tracks. Versus if I type the letter E, I still have 1,421 songs. If I type in the words EDM, 580 songs. If I type hashtag E, it's already gotten me down there so much faster. I really wanted to deep dive into the hashtag because when you're quickly having to pivot or move to a different area, it's just quicker. Let me show you one way to pivot even faster. Let's say you're in a situation where somebody wants music from the 90s. Great, you go hashtag 90s. I've instantly narrowed it down there. But they only want rap music, 90s rap music. Okay, cool. So we'll type in hashtag rap. See what I did there? I've used a hashtag method to stack up particular keywords. It is so important that you go through the process of giving it the proper tags, giving it the treatment it deserves. I'm aging myself when I say this, but there was that day where buying physical music really meant something and it wasn't to be taken for granted like when you would download music off of Napster. I think it was around the time when Napster and LimeWire came out that we really started to have secondary feeling towards music, like it was disposable. In fact, that's when the music industry itself started to bottom out because we treated music like it was worthless back then. I want us to better our brand, become better DJs, and really treat music properly again, let me show you how. Tag everything. At least 2 tags. At least 2 tags per song. 3 at the most. You may ask yourself, where do you get the tags? How do you classify the tags? Well, I'll tell you where I got my inspiration from record pools. Honestly, I go where the experts go. See how they classify music. Club Killers does a good job. Hip hop, twerk, electro, bass house. What are the genres that you really work with? If the experts who probably deal with more music than you would ever in your entire life have to deal with it, that's probably a good tip. Direct Music Service, for example, this record pool that's been around for decades, they get an influx of probably hundreds of tracks submitted to them every day. You would think they have some way of organizing themselves. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's how you tag. And that's how you're able to recall music super fast. If you have some college kids who just walked in, you're going to give them some music from hashtag 2020s. Okay. And then you've got some people who it looks like they're some hipsters. Okay. You go a little bit more hashtag rock. You got some EDM kids, hashtag EDM. So you start to really narrow in fast as long as you're tagging. If you're enjoying this so far, please hit like and subscribe. We are doing a serious deep dive on my crates, my organization logic, the rules, some of the tools. Now let's talk about the transitions, the glue that nobody really talks about here, how you decide what music comes next before the current one ends. I think that's the biggest panic a lot of us deal with as DJs is we get so caught up in the moment. Next thing you know, 30 seconds left on the track. What song do you play next? Crate Hackers was built on the premise of finding the right song at the right time. And you'll start to notice that for me, transitions is about the energy stepping versus the energy jumping. When you mix long, mix short, or just slam it. So Crate Hackers is really well known for mixable crates. And the premise of mixable crates came from what has actually worked in the past. One of the most overlooked portions of your DJ software is your DJ history. What's been played? How long it was played for? When did you play it? And to me, that's one of the biggest crate hacks of all. Your history. One of the things that set me off on this journey of crate hacking was trying to archive the best moments because I felt they were going to go away and we never would be able to find them again. I come from the day and age of radio, and when it goes on the air, it was hard to get back because we weren't able to record back then. And now, with the day and age of data and AI, we can certainly start to archive a lot of the best mixes. The light bulb went off for me one time when I was going through my Rekordbox, and I was like, wow, I've got over 11 years of histories that I can harken back on at any point. And I'm willing to bet you that 9 times out of 10, you rocked a good portion of your parties. Maybe not every event was an absolute banger, but there were moments and times where you played maybe as far back as however long you've been a DJ that you can probably pull up some things that jog your memory and bring you back into a better mindset of what do I play next. Here's how I do it. I stack up mixes over MP3s. Let me repeat that. I stack up mixes over MP3s. I think about your graduation process, bringing music into your folder, but then I really want you to start thinking about the mixable combinations of that song. This is that 4D chess move that we don't think about enough. 5 or 6 songs could get me through about 15 minutes versus one song that lasts about, 3 or 4. You've got a certain amount of time to keep people on the dance floor. I believe that there are segments of songs and tightly put together mixes that you've probably already done before that you can bring back. So you're stacking your mixes instead of your MP3s. Let me show you what I mean by that. I just DJ'd here in Nashville a couple of days ago. I did this little EDM remix club party. I know for a fact that this remix of Justin Timberlake moving into Shakira, into MK, into Calvin, into Iconopop was a flawless mix. Got to give myself some credit for it because I pieced them all together. I queued them up. I crossfaded them. I made a real good blend of every single one of them. But I just knew by remembering my history that those 5 songs sounded really good together. So what I'm going to do is I take those 5 songs and I make a crate out of all of those. In fact, I could probably weed out some of the stuff that didn't work and condense this into one real big power packed playlist. Just a reminder that you're a great DJ. You've done some incredible work already before. It may not be throughout the entire 5 hour set from that wedding or that club gig, but there were maybe 15 minutes of fame. Take those 15 minutes, stack them up with another 15 somewhere else. If they fit the same genre, you might have an incredible set waiting for you that has just been pieced together throughout history. We don't talk about history enough, so I believe that is certainly going to help you out. Please like, subscribe, and tell me if there's any other hacks you'd like me to really drill into in 2026. I'll do that in some future videos. But we did cover where the music comes from. We covered organizational logic. We talked about transitions, the glue that nobody talks about, and history. Now let's talk about the edits and versions that I choose and why I choose them. What stays, what plays, what goes away. If I only had, let's say, 1,500 songs in this fraternity or sorority, polished them like a gem and got some pretty familiar tracks. Notice I've got the acapella outs. Acapella outs keep things interesting for me. Look at the top here. Cue point A is the beginning of the song. Cue point B indicates where the vocal usually kicks off. And then you got a final cue point towards the end here, right next to the acapella. The beat has been stripped out and it's only him and his voice. I can layer that over the intro of, say, Sexy and I Know It, because I've got the beat and his vocals layered on top of one another. Some of you can say, well, that's easy. You've got stems to replace that. Serato stems. There's even Rekordbox that has stems. I'm still a CDJ DJ, and there's currently no stems for USBs. So I grab the acapella outs on record pools pretty easily. I grab intro edits. Those are simple 8-bar intros, 32 beats of usually instrumental before a chorus. Then you've got an outro, which has 32 beats as well, an 8-bar that helps you mix from one song to the next. I get a lot of wordplay transitions. I use these quite a bit, where you'll have a song that starts off like, for example, Journey's Don't Stop Believin' into One More Time. They're called wordplay edits. So if you search, for example, a direct music service or a Club Killers, search wordplay, or segue is another term. Transition is another one. I will point out, speaking of transitions, I use those quite a bit. Here's the only rule I've ever broken in the history of my music library. I change the track title of my transition edits. First off, what are transition edits? Let me pull up Yeah by Usher. I've got this wordplay edit, a transition. If you're familiar with Yeah by Usher, it's 105 beats per minute. And then you've got this switch halfway that goes from Yeah to Flo Rida's Low. So it goes from 105 to 128. These transition edits really help me in a pinch, but I don't always remember the BPM. I can't always recall. So it's the only time that I will ever change the actual title of the physical MP3 itself. I caution you on messing with the artist and title metadata. What is metadata? Let me show you. If I go into my folder of music on Dropbox, you can see that I have all of my MP3s in my fraternity, sorority, whatever you want to call it. But here is the actual file name. Clicking Get Info, you can see metadata, where most of the information about your MP3 resides. If I change anything about the location, the name, anything about the metadata, I'm pretty much dead in the water, unless I bring it back in and start the process all over again by retagging it. I caution you on ever changing the names of your songs, because it's going to really gum up finding the songs. You'll lose music if you change metadata. You will lose the music if you change the metadata, so don't do that. Now that I've finally shown you the only rule that I've ever broken, you may not be much of a remix DJ yourself, but me, that is my bread and butter. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Something about the remix. I even wrote a book about it if you're interested. You can see in the description, I wrote a book called A Life Remixed, and it's all about trying to find the right music at the right time and just being different. For me, I've always felt that finding the most nasty, wicked remix you could find of a song that's got familiar lyrics, that's the winning sauce for me. For example, the DJ Scene bootleg. I can't play it for you because of copyright reasons, but I can promise you that this bootleg, it's pretty unique. It's not this version that you would normally hear on the radio. And I pride myself on finding these kind of edits. And this really to me is the secret sauce of finding your brand, finding particular edits, transitions, and remixes to flesh out the style that makes you who you are and gets you booked for what you like. You see what I'm saying? If you start to have that reputation of, oh, he plays all types of music, let's book him for every style, that might be nice for a while, but you start to lose the passion when you start pleasing everybody. Be a little selfish. It's okay to say no to some events that you're uncomfortable with or that just doesn't feel right to you. If I'm given an opportunity to DJ a clean edit birthday party versus an underground rave that allows my kind of remixes, what do you think I'm going to go with? I'm not going to give up much of my energy to play a party that I really wouldn't be hyped about. I know money is tight for a lot of you, but I do believe that money comes when you really fine tune your craft as well. Don't get too diverse too soon. Really narrow in on what makes you you, and the money will follow. I promise you that. I can't encourage you enough to join us on Tuesday nights on Twitch as we go live and build out crates together. Prepping in advance with a mindset of other like minded individuals is really going to help you go far. So, finding your community, having people to shoot ideas off of is brilliant, especially if you're moving into unfamiliar territory. You never know where that next nugget of inspiration is going to come from. This whole video exists because of how my brain works. Everything you just saw, the 1500 song rule, the graduation instead of hoarding, cue points treated like non-negotiables, smart crates that answer questions instead of listing files. That DNA isn't a concept, it's baked into crate hackers. Crate hackers is where the process stops being personal and starts being usable. It's the system I wish existed years ago, built for DJs who are tired of guessing and panic scrolling and rebuilding their library every 6 months. How do I keep my library lean without losing range? How do I organize music so it works under pressure? This is the end of the road. Inside Crate Hackers, we build crates live together. We stress test songs instead of trusting hype. We turn instincts into repeatable systems and stop pretending that charts and tools and playlists are all the same thing. If this video makes you feel seen, you are definitely one of us. I'm going to give you 7 days free to grab as many crates as you want. Everything that I've shared with you, including remixes that you can get from Late Night Record Pool, Direct Music Service, Club Killers, it can all be here because we've literally made crate music organization simple and allows you a chance to really hone in on your brand, keep the music that works for you, and helps you find the right songs at the right time. 7 days absolutely free. Go ahead and try us out. Join us on Twitch every Tuesday night if you're not convinced as we build out crates live. Here's how we begin in 2026. A full deep dive of my crates. If there might have been a question that was unanswered, hit me in the comments below. Maybe by next year, I'll have some more tips and tricks to share with you. We'll definitely have more videos along the way. Hit that subscribe button and happy hacking.